Hello everyone and welcome to yet another episode of To the Power of N. And our season 2 is all about diversity and networking. We have in our studio Bukata here. Bukata is the Chief Diversity and Equity Officer at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Minnesota. And I have known Bukata for almost 3 years, and prior to that he was my mentor.
Yes.
Mentor.
Yes.
On one of the foundation boards.
Yes.
That's how I got connected to Bukata and learned a lot of things from Bukata, and that's why I felt he is going to be phenomenal in our season 2. So Bukata, I'm going to ask you the same 2 key questions that I ask of our guests. What are your tips and tricks for networking, and how has that helped you? Welcome.
Yeah, so thank you for the invitation, Nash. I really appreciate it. We've known each other for a while, in particular, the board sort of mentor-mentee relationship. My tips for networking. So in our business, in particular in diversity, equity, and inclusion, one of the biggest things you have is your network, your circle. Right? And so for me, what I found to be really effective, one is I am open to almost any reach out for that, right? So if somebody says, hey, I met you at a conference, would love to sort of talk 15 to 20 minutes, is that okay? I'm like, yes, let's do it. Let's set it up. And it doesn't matter if it's somebody that's at a higher level, lower level in terms of hierarchy at all. I'm open to that. I'm open to what might be possible in that connection as well. So I don't necessarily go in with preset, we're going to talk, we're going to have coffee, and then I'm going to tell them this is what I need. And this, I typically go in and simply ask the question, how you doing? What is your work? Here's my work. What are those opportunities that we can partner? I tend to carry no ego into networking, right? Mm-hmm. Because I think that tends to get in the way of being sort of fully present, right? And fully open to what's possible. So for me, that's probably my biggest thing about networking is like to go into that with no ego, right? Because if you have ego, it means like you're going to look at someone like right now, we're executives, right? If you had ego, you would look at someone who is on the front line reaching out to you to network like, nah, like I need to be networking up. And you still do, but like to not network, right, with the frontline worker, I think is a problem, right? Because they're trying to do the same thing you're trying to do in terms of network up. So those are the things I would say, right? Open to sort of those reach outs and respond to it. Open as we meet to what's possible. I don't go in with sort of preset sort of thoughts about what I want out of it. Is the road it took me to get to Blue Cross. So let me tell you that. So one, working in Mankato, Minnesota, was working at the Greater Mankato Diversity Council. And had a colleague, right? Power of N, had a colleague who was like, hey, we have our funder coming down, and we would love to give them sort of this MC type of experience. So we would want somebody who could rattle off some data about our community and sort of talk about some of the highlights and some other things, right? So this was a colleague reaching out to me. I had no idea who Blue Cross Blue Shield as a foundation was. Mm-hmm. I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. Tell me what you want me to do. So it was through that, Blue Cross Blue Shield Foundation came down to Mankato to meet with some of their funders. I was like the moderator that day. In the audience was, at the time, the current CEO. Mm. The current CEO was like, hey, we have some board spots opening. I think that person, me, would be a great board member. Mm. The foundation president reached out to me. I said, yeah, I'd be open to learning more about it. Talked, joined the board, met you, met at the time, the new CEO. And then the vice president for racial and health equity position came open, was invited. A couple of people reached out to me, you should really apply. Yeah. I applied, and here we are today. None of that is possible. Us sitting here right now would not be possible if I had not simply said yes to being the MC, right? And I think of this sort of session with funders and the grantee partners. And I was just the MC. And I think that's where the no ego part comes in. Because somebody could have said, you just want me to be the MC? Yeah. Nah, man, I got more important stuff to do than that. And I was like, no, I do that. Would love to. And so That's the example I would use of how I put those sort of techniques or principles into action and sort of what I've gotten out of it.
You heard it well, loud and clear, having those connections, keeping your ego aside, having authentic connection with people at all levels is very critical when it comes to the power of N. Because when you say to the power of N, it can happen at all levels. It doesn't need to be at a specific level as well. So thank you so much, Bukata, for being on the show.
Sure.
And for more such powerful episodes, please stay tuned in, like it, subscribe it, comment on it, and have a great rest of the day. Thank you, Bukata.
Yeah, thank you.